Welcome back once again, everybody, to BSG Online 9. We are here with another fantastic speedrun coming up by the wonderful, talented, and mustachioed Aeshmah. Take it away, man.
That's an introduction. Hello everybody, I am Aeshmah. I mainly run samurai games, and today we are running a Chinese samurai game because that's obviously a thing, isn't it? This is an Exorcist. It released in early access in 2021, I believe, and it actually got a full release earlier this year, and that is what we are running. That sentence doesn't make a lot of sense, but just roll with it. Anyway, we will start from a fresh save file. We will be playing on casual difficulty because it is the easiest difficulty to get the game through. And then we had a bidwar between the two main characters of the game, Lu Yuanshun and Zhao Zhu, whose name I probably completely butchered. But Killerchair, if you would like to tell me which character we are going to be playing as.
Well, I think you pronounced that last name way better than I did, and it is indeed the one with the X in both the first and last name.
So, the magical, mystical fox lady.
Indeed.
Alright. Yeah, I kind of figured, you know, when the Bidwar started, it's like, or rather, I underestimated Chad's love for the mystical fox lady, I suppose. Because I thought, you know, it's probably the second showing of this game during Marathon, actually. So people would be donating for the Eastern Exorcist, you know, because it's in the title, but nope, mystical fox lady it is. Anyway. As soon as I select my character here, time will start. So why don't we just go ahead and get ready on that? In 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Eastern Exorcist. I kinda like to describe this game as Chinese Muramasa the Demon Blade, if you've played that game either on the Wii or its PlayStation Vita remake. Because, you know, it's like this side-scroller action RPG kind of game where you also get to choose between two different characters, which have two completely different storylines, different fighting styles, and stuff like that. And, you know, it's also like hand-drawn animation, so it's just very similar to me in a way. Which is, you know, why I like to make that comparison. So if you played Muramasa, actually, this might be a game that you should probably go ahead and check out. It's also on all major systems, I believe. I know it is on Steam and on PlayStation because I'm playing the PlayStation version of it. I'm not completely sure on Switch and Xbox, but I guess a quick search in the corresponding marketplaces will give you the result. So yeah, as you can see here, we are playing as Zhao Zhu. She is a mystical fox girl, because you could, like, kind of looks, or she's like half human, half fox demon, I guess is the best description you can have. You can kind of see that when you're just walking around where she looks more human-like, and then as soon as you get into battle, you know, the fox ears come out and the hair gets longer and all of them. And for now, we're just making our way through the tutorial. Now, the tutorial is kind of scripted. You have to do specific actions to be able to defeat these enemies here. As you can see, he will always, like, regenerate his health back when I'm not hitting him with one of these slash attacks that the tutorial makes me do. So that is just something that you have to be aware of in the first couple of minutes of the game, which always, you know, makes it a little bit slow in my opinion. Like, but once we're out of the tutorial, the game will pick up in speed quite dramatically because I'm actually free to do what I want to do with these enemies, and I don't have to cater to the tutorials. It's actually an interesting thing because I think when the game was in early access, it didn't have these tutorial sections, and they were kind of added in later on during development, and I think they didn't really do a great job about it because it's kind of intrusive and there's no way to skip this. So every time you start a new game, you have to go through this tutorials, or rather it's tutorial pop-ups. It's not that bad that you have to go through, you know, this section of the game. It's just all these pop-ups that kind of keep interrupting the game flow and taking you a little bit out of it in the beginning. But anyway, the guarded enemies that you see here that have a shield is like the bane of every speedrunner, because they will block every attack until you do a charged attack, which actually breaks their guard. And that can be quite the time loss. You know, they even block your slash attacks. Imagine that. Little bastards here. As you can see, it's just so cumbersome to get through these guys. So I'm pretty glad every time I am past that point of the game, because I can just fight the way I want and actually make it, you know, efficient. Yeah, so the story of this game is basically we are infiltrating this mansion together with our brother to steal an artifact. I kind of forgot what its name was, sadly. Because, you know, Zhao and Zhu and her brother, they are half-demons, as I alluded to earlier. They are a mixture between human and fox demon, and apparently this artifact, I think it's called the Jade Stone or something, would make them like full-powered demons, so to speak, and make them more acceptance among their demon kind people. Because they are not necessarily outcasts, but they are kind of like treated poorly in society because of their mixed blood heritage. And, you know, they're kind of fed up with that, so they think that if they go ahead and steal this Jade Stone from the Viper King, that will make them more accepted as full demons. And we... actually, our brother already got the stone here, so now we're just making our way out of the mansion. Just defeating the last couple of guards that try to stay in our way, quite futilely. And, okay, we're out of the mansion, but not out of the woodwork yet. Another thing that's quite unique about this game in particular is the dispel mechanic. It kind of makes less sense if you're playing as Zhao Yuzhu. It makes more sense when you're playing as the actual, you know, Exorcist character, Lu Yunxuan. Because you see, whenever I kill or deplete the health bar of an enemy, I haven't killed them yet, they will still be on the battlefield and have this dispel bar above their head. And what this does is, as long as that bar is not filled, I can just go onto the enemy and press R2 to dispel them, which actually kills them. If I don't do that before the bar fills, the enemy will actually get up again and be a little bit tougher to defeat afterwards. So, according to the speedrun, I obviously never want to have that happen. So I'm making sure to, you know, be in range when an enemy, quote-unquote, dies. Its health bar is depleted, so I can go ahead and dispel them. Also, birds are jerks. And I guess we all know that, right? Oh god. Can you please? Birds and RPG runs, right? Always fun to see. Not really. There's our brother again. He's holding the Jade Stone, whatever it's actually called again. Hey. With that thing. It's a thingamajig, okay? We're here to steal it. All that matters. See what I said about these guard or shielded enemies? They are the worst. You also can't really group them up because they spawn at like the exact opposite of the screen. And since your movement speed is quite slow when you're actually charging an attack, it just kind of doesn't make it viable to do so. But we should be nearly out of this. Okay, this is where the RPG element comes into play. We can activate this shrine. We can level up our character and then grab some talents here. Which sure that I actually grab the right stuff. There we go. And then, oh no, my brother got captured by this Yaksha guard, so we have our first boss fight of the run. Where we are heavily abusing our downward slash attack because it does oodles of damage. Together with our slash attack. I can make this happen. Let me just concentrate on this fight for a while, and then afterwards I will explain it. Because bosses in this game kind of work the same way. Okay, there we go. You saw, like, in the top middle of the screen, you saw two bars, like a yellowish orange bar and a blue bar. Now, the blue bar is the boss's shield. As long as the blue bar is active, as long as the shield is active, the boss will take reduced damage. And obviously, what that means is you want to deplete the shield as quickly as you can. And you can most efficiently do that with doing the slash attack. So the slash attack, you already see me do that a little while, is if you time your combo, or if you do a combo and wait after the last hit, your character will flash. And if you press the attack button again at that point, you will do what's called a slash attack. And that is a very high-powered, very damaging attack. So you always want to try and go for a slash attack. Now with Zhao Zhu, you can do a slash attack after a 2-hit combo, after this downward strike that you saw me do, or after a charged attack. So you kind of want to try and find which attack is best to use to get through the shield. And once the shield is destroyed, the boss will get stunned for a short while and take massive amounts of damage. So that is where you want to go ahead and, you know, get all of your DPS in if you can. And that is basically how most of the bosses will work for now. Like that's like the fundamentals of a game's boss fight. Here we have another tutorial. I think this was actually the tutorial they had first in the game before they programmed in the actual tutorial section that we were playing, the prologue, so to speak. However, we do not want to do the tutorial. You would get an item that gives you like a buff or an ability. Excuse me. But we don't need that for the speedrun. We just want to go through that tutorial as quickly as we can, because, you know, it would just lose way more time than it would make good if we get that item here. Now we actually got our very first exorcism art. You can think of the exorcism arts in this game as kind of like stances or magical abilities that you can get. You get most of them during the course of the main game, but some of them you can only get when you do some of the side quests. Because yes, this game actually has a couple side quests built in as well. The first one that we get is because a brother, even though it may look like he's dead because he's this ghost, it's just his spirit. You know, he's still alive. However, he's heavily weakened right now because, you know, as you saw at the end of the prologue there, the Viper King discovered us. He took the Jade Stone back, so, you know, our efforts were basically futile. However, our brother also got hit very hard and he's now near death, basically. So the rest of the story kind of revolves around trying to nurse him back to health by finding specific other spirit stones that will basically heal him. So, you know, we have his spirit traveling around with us, and we can actually summon him in battle to, you know, help us fight enemies now. Which is a nice ability to have, but it's definitely not the best one we get. More on that a little bit later. So here we're trying to make our way to the first temple to, you know, get those spirit stones to heal our brother, as I just explained. But on the way we meet this princess who is about to ship off to her marriage, and she kinda doesn't want to go there, so, you know, she's kinda having the palanquin hold and pray at a temple for, I don't know, better partner, or not having to be married, or whatever it is. And, you know, we meet her, but then we get attacked by this monster and other monsters, and things start to spiral out of control a little bit. And because Zhao Zhu and that princess girl kinda understand each other, and they are like best buds right from the get-go, we decide to help her if we can, because in this... Oh no, right. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, because as you saw, the palanquin riders actually... or carriers, or not riders. They kinda got scared and ran away from the rat that we so aptly defeated. Okay, I should go through here. Let me actually find out someone's forgetting anything here. Yes, so we have to look for these palanquin riders to get them back, because, you know, obviously we need our transport. Not us specifically, but, you know, the princess whose name I forgot. For that, we just have to defeat some rats. Well, there's a parry mechanic in this game as well. You probably won't see me do it, because for the speedrun specifically, it's not necessarily needed. It does allow you to instantly do a slash attack, but, you know, parry can be a little bit iffy sometimes. So I just rather opt to go for the damage, like, immediately if I can. Here we can not fight, but find the first carrier. He's, well, already dead. That was quick. I mean, he was gone for what, 2 minutes at most? Like, god damn it, dude. This goes to show how volatile this whole region is, I guess. So, can be glad that we are the Baron-Hearted warrior that we are, to get rid of all of this. And yes, we still have more tutorials, but we don't actually have to do them now. The game is just fine letting us do whatever. Now, the reason why I haven't summoned my brother so far is, remember how those shielded enemies kind of block all of your attacks until you break their guard? Well, that holds true for him as well, and if he keeps the enemy in a stagger, so to speak, I just can't go ahead and land my charged attack to actually break their guard. So whenever I face shielded enemies, I kind of don't want to summon him, even though he would help a little bit with DPS. So I'm not going to do that. However, when enemies don't have a shield, you know, feel free to use them. You'll just float around and attack the enemies and yada yada yada. Okay, we can actually teleport back where we need to go. And this is where we basically tell them, hey, your bearers are dead, so I guess you have to walk now. But oh no! Princess Lady gets captured by a dog demon. So obviously, you know, being the self-sacrificing hero we are, we try and find them. Oh, you know, rescue her from the demon. I will just continue on for a while, so I don't know, Killerchair, do you have anything that you want to tell our dear viewers, because you have a little bit of time to just go ahead and do that?
Oh yeah, sure. We could of course remind you that aside from BSG events, we also host other events all over. Cool things on the BSG channel. The McRae-a-thon, for instance, happens over here, and other such things. So you can check that out by following the BSG channel. And if you want to stay up to date with Twitter and Instagram stuff, then you can follow us there under the handle BSG Marathons. You can get a behind the scenes look at the event and stay up to date with the latest news on what's going on.
Perfect, so let me just go ahead and level up a bit, because we got more soul, the spiritual essence as they're called here. We are taking a breaker, G circulation, and good motion. Sorry, menuing. I just want to make absolutely sure that I grab the right stuff during the menuing section, so these might go a little bit slower. Also, a fun thing about menuing in this game actually is if you're not in control of your character, like when you are in a cutscene or when you are in a menu, the in-game timer doesn't count that. So this is actually a pretty newbie-friendly speedrun, I want to say, because you know, if you don't know where to go, or if you need to check your notes for anything, you can just pause the game and the timer will actually stop. The in-game timer, that is. But we also count the leaderboards via in-game time. So it's just a really, you know, nice and friendly way for other people to get in, because we kind of want parity across different systems, and that is why we opted to count with IGT instead of RTA. Now obviously, you know, it will still affect your RTA time if you're just in the menu for I don't know how long. So you don't want to do that, because that is the secondary time that will be counted against you, and especially in a marathon run, you know, we are still RTA here. So I don't want to spend too much time in the menu, but I'd rather take like an extra second or two to check I'm actually grabbing the right abilities than having to fluke on a fight. And I'm just missing my slashes all over the place. Oh my god. Yeah, as you can see, whenever I did that downward attack there that does all the hits where it just spins around, I wanted to do a slash at the end of it, but I kind of just kept missing the timing for it, so that fight took a little bit longer than it should. I guess marathon nerves are finally starting to come out here. Anyway. Yeah, there's the princess and the big demon K9, as it's called, who has abducted her, but apparently they're not exactly friends of these rat demons as well. Because, you know, at first we thought that the demon K9 would just steal the princess to bring back to these guys, but that doesn't actually seem to be the case, so we're not quite sure what's going on here, but our mission doesn't necessarily change just yet, because we still have to get the princess back. Also, a little bit earlier, you saw me not get the dispel on one of these bird enemies, and then you saw that this health bar got like purple, and it took a little bit more damage to kill, well, again. So that is what you actually try to avoid as much as possible. So here we have a little bit of the not necessarily a jumping puzzle, but it is a section where you have to go all the way vertical while these talismans kinda react to the demon blood in you and explode when you come near them. And as you saw there, they deal a lot of damage, so you kinda wanna take path a little bit slow there, if you can help it. There we see a bunch of dead demons and more of these talismans. Just gonna stand there and block them for a little bit. And here we find an Exorcist. It's not the other main character, I will tell you that. This is a different Exorcist, but you know, obviously there are more Exorcists in China than just the one. And yeah, just having a little bit of a chat there. He's wondering why the talismans actually attacked us, because he doesn't know that we are a demon. I got a bit of an upgrade here. On. Also, can I just say that I really don't like these crossbow rats? They're like always perched at higher places. They shoot down at you, and if you try to attack them, there's a good chance you just go ahead and push them down. So you have to follow them around again, and it's just, I really don't like fighting them. Also, a nice little detail here is that these rats that are up top at the drums, if they hit the drums, they will actually buff all the other enemies, as you saw with this yellow aura around them. So you kinda wanna make those a priority target. And you guys are not cooperating, they are not bunching up as I had hoped. But sometimes that's just the way it is. So we're grabbing a lot of souls and different upgrade materials around the way here, because we need those to, you know, be able to level up our character. But also to grab more abilities. Okay, here we're fighting the demon canine. Finally caught up to him. Get to summon our brother. Should take a bit of a beating here. Yeah, you can kind of see how delayed that slash comes out of this downward attack. So you really have to wait quite a bit. Sorry, just concentrating on my timing here. Okay, there we go. But you can kind of see, you know, what the quote-unquote optimal strategy for defeating like bigger enemies so far is, because, you know, the bigger the enemy, not only the harder they fall, but also the more hits they take from the repeated, you know, downward spiral attack. I forget the name, what it's called. But that's like, for now at least, the best we can do. Here's a neat little scene. Like, you remember that first rat that we fought when the palanquin bearers like ran away? We actually opted to leave him alive. And that is why he comes back here. And because he's so grateful that we let him live, he shows us a secret path that we can take, so we don't have to go through that fortress that you just saw there. So we can just go down here and skip all of that fighting. This is a heavily trapped corridor, but you know, we can just air dash across all of that. Saves us a bunch of time, and it's also just neat because if you just mash through the text, actually sparing his life is the default option. So it's basically a win-win situation. How dare you block my attack? You absolute Chad. Taking a safety save here, and then our way up there. Oh. But we could just go to the right. Maybe I should actually go ahead and look at my screen phones. I have never seen these guys block so much in their life. What is going on? Oop. Way up here. Grabbing a couple more upgrade fragments along the way. So obviously we will end them and then what did it do? That kinda worked. Alright. Taking a little bit of a roundabout here because there is one specific upgrade material that I want to grab from back here. Spirituality Essence. This is like the rarest upgrade material, if I'm not mistaken. So there really isn't a lot of places to get these, so even though we have to take a fight for it, it's probably worth it for the abilities that we're getting out of. Check real quick. Get to grab anything? No, we could still be good. Okay, there's the Demon Cannon again with the princess. He doesn't look so happy. Because this is the dog general. And he's also trying to get the princess. So everybody's trying to get the princess. Us, the dog who actually has the princess, now this guy. We're already into another boss fight. So once again, just quickly. So with this guy, you kind of don't want to hit the shield when he's actually using it to block your attacks, because he will do a very devastating counter attack afterwards. So if you see that you hit the shield or, you know, the block like this, kind of just want to go out of the way, because that shield bash, oh my god, it does damage. Okay, luckily I broke his shield, or his guard rather, so I interrupted his shield bash attack. Oop. Okay, and there we go. That's boss fight done. And now we get the Skill Breaker. Now the Skill Breaker is actually the exorcism art that we do want to use for the rest of the run, because it's way better than summoning our brother. There's a lot more useful abilities to it. And here we see, you know, we defeated the Dark General, but we didn't kill him. And there's this Exorcist guy again. I guess he's been following us around. Was he also following around the princess? But, kind of makes short work of all these demons that were trying to follow us. So I guess he's on our side? Right? Our side? Hopefully he's on our side. So we're still just, you know, pursuing the princess. And the canine. So, sure that I get the next menu correctly, otherwise not be as smoothly. So this is like this skill menu where we have all of our exorcism arts, and we want to learn the skill breaker, or rather we want to upgrade the skill breakers. So we will grab Fiery Inferno, Sharpened Blade, Echo, Extinguish, Shockwave, Infuriation. That sounds about correct. Then we'll equip it. Level up to 15. And we grab Armor Break. Okay. Alright, so a lot of upgrades happened there. And we're kinda now set on how we are gonna play the rest of the game, more or less. As you will see in the next boss fight. Also, spoiler, the next boss fight is like probably the worst boss fight in this run specifically, because you have a very small target that you're fighting that is very mobile. If you've seen anything with Xiao Zhu, with the glaives she's using for fighting, she is pretty slow. So he's kind of like the complete antithesis to our fighting style. So this fight can go all sideways sometimes. So let's see how this goes. And also, yeah, he still leaves all of these talismans around that deal damage to you. And he likes to hide in them, which is like the worst thing. I got him nice and cornered here, so I hope I can keep him there. However, these talismans don't fill me with confidence. Rather gonna heal here. It's like really deceptive how much damage you can take all of a sudden in this fight, so you kind of want to keep an eye out on your health as well, and just heal if you need it. Okay, and there we go. Good. Not the best fight, but you know, we got through it without a death, and that is basically all that counts. So kind of what happened here story-wise is like that dog that abducted the princess was actually her household dog. And it became a demon because it wasn't able to protect its owner from, you know, getting dragged off to a marriage. And that is when the demonic essence basically entered it. And that is why it transformed into a demon and still tried to protect its master because, you know, it knew that that marriage wasn't going to be good for her. And at the same time, that Exorcist, you know, just did his job. You know, he was trying to defeat the demon, right? Because demon dog, not that great to have around most of the time. But, you know, the Exorcist killed the dog at the end. Princess got sad. We killed the Exorcist, so the lady can just go ahead and live her best life as through her abilities, I guess. And that's the wrap on that arc of the story. The one thing that about this game is like all the stories in it, or you know, I say all the stories, but both stories are kind of dark. Like they definitely deal with some heavy substance matter from time to time. Like I want to say it's more so in Lu Yunchuan's story as in Zhao Zhu's story, but there's still some very dark elements to the whole thing. Like a very mature story, I want to say. Which I guess kind of fits the setting. You know, this is like... I'm actually not sure when exactly this is set historically, but, you know, it's definitely not in the present. Definitely somewhere in the past. And, you know, life was difficult back then. Lots of bandits and war. And this game's story is basically a reflection of exactly that. Also, we're fighting new guarding enemies, and these are even worse than the rats, because... if you hit them too hard, these skeletons will just fall over, as you saw just there, and they will lay on the ground, and it takes them a second or two to get up again before you can hit them again, but most of the time they will just go ahead and guard immediately after that, so it's just a headache. Anyway, story-wise, we are in chapter 2 now, out of 3, and I think we were able to get one of the jade stones that we need to restore our brother in the last chapter, if I'm not mistaken. And now we're on the lookout for the second one, which is supposed to be in a temple near here. However, it got late on the way. So we took refuge in this temple that is now also overrun by demons. So we're just trying to figure out what the hell is going on at the moment. Like, why are there all these monsters here? And what the hell is going on? And in the meantime, we have like these, like this scene right here. It's like a recollection of past events that kind of tell the story, okay, what happened in this temple. Like, why are there monsters here? Where's actually the abbot that Blackon was at the entrance of the temple and gave us a place to rest, but he is nowhere to be found at the moment. And then there's this other ghost right here that is kind of trying to show us something. As you can see with our other friend here that just blindly follows him for some reason. Are you okay there, buddy? I don't know, it looks a bit funky. we have these guys. And if you like them, don't worry, because you have another boss fight that's basically the same enemies, just bigger. Ah. If I just concentrating on the boss fight for a second. Yeah, you can kind of see that, you know, spacing also plays like a big role in how you play this game, because this slash attack that I'm trying to do, it doesn't like really hit around me, it hits like in a specific place in front of me, which still has a bit of an area of effect, but if an enemy is like right in front of me like that, it will just go ahead and miss. So you really have to, you know, space out where you are and where the enemy is, and they don't necessarily always allow you to do that. So it's a constant back and forth of your positioning here, which you have to be aware of. And now we're out of the temple, and it just straight up vanished. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I were to go to a temple that overnight got overrun with monsters and just vanishes in the morning, I would be suspicious. That's a fun fact, I do not remember this enemy. I'm going the right way, aren't I? Okay. Yeah, okay. I was like, I just really did not remember the screen open. But yeah, as long as you get these scenes along the way, you are good to go, obviously. Now, the fun thing is, now that we got the skill breaker exorcism art, we don't necessarily have to dispel the enemies anymore, because we grabbed enough upgrades that if we use the skill breaker, this purple wave that you see shooting out at the end of my attack there, that has a property that it automatically dispels enemies that it hits, you know, and it just saves us this little bit of time that we would have to invest every time we kill an enemy to just kill them by itself. And fuck power. Oh, now I see why I didn't remember that fight, because I normally skip. Well, I guess I have one more Rift Talisman that I don't need to use. You can actually skip encounters, so to speak, or make them disappear, and I will explain a little bit more of that after this fight. So if you played Muramasa, the concept is kind of similar. If you remember in Muramasa, the only way you could get out of an encounter was if you had a smoke bomb. Now this game doesn't have smoke bombs, but what it has is earth shrinking talismans. And what that allows you to do, you can see it right here. I will use the earth shrinking talisman, and that will put me out of the encounter and makes it so that I can't get into another encounter for a short while. Is super good. Oh, we got another boss fight, so let me just hold that thought. But yeah, basically, for a little while, you can't get into another encounter, which obviously, you know, saves a bit of time, or a lot of time, if you know when and where to use it. Because you... Oh my god, dude. Allows you to get rid of the most time-consuming encounters. And that is why I wasn't able to remember that one enemy fight, because I hadn't done it in a long while, because I forgot to use the Earth-Shaking Talisman. That is why I got so confused. But yeah, as you see, a big enemy, just do the downward slash repeatedly. Hope that the enemy plays along and doesn't run around the whole time and charge at you with its horse. There we go. Actually wanted to grab another upgrade before I did this fight. I am missing a... Alright, it is what it is. Anyway.
Do we have time for a donation?
Yes, go ahead. I have to look for something anyway.
Because we have €5 dropped by Mies LWD saying good luck with the run, buddy. Sadly, I cannot participate in this BSG, but better luck next time. I wish all runners and volunteers an awesome time this weekend. Good luck to everyone. Cheers, Mies.
Hey, Mies. Miss you, buddy. Always good to hear you. So I'm just looking for one upgrade, but I am blind as to where it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm missing stuff. Okay. The neat thing is you can just combine these things into others. And there we go. Oh my god. But again, you know, the IGT was stopped during that whole process. So IGT-wise, that is not a time loss. I'm kind of okay with it, not really. Because, you know, obviously it still lost me time RDA, but build-wise, it's fine to take a break some of the time. So we found the temple again. Apparently it just goes ahead and, you know, teleports all around the place here, which is interesting. Has a very ghostly affinity to it. And the god guys are back. I hate you. Because it's also the thing, you know, if you hit them with a charge attack, they will just keel over, like I said there. And that will also lose time. So not only can you not attack them, but if you do attack them directly, god, they also fall to the ground and cost you even more time. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And as you can see there, you know, it takes too long for the slash to come out, so that guy would just instantly block again. It's, I mean, to be fair, I don't think I've ever seen it to be this bad, but he did a good showing to just drive home our point about enemies with shields in this game. They are atrocious. They are a menace. We're fighting another boss. The interesting thing about this is he combines his two weapons and holds them in front of him, like he did just there. That's another, like, a parry stance that he has. If you then go ahead and attack that weapon, you will counter-attack with a very devastating one. So, you kinda don't wanna hit his parry stance. Actually, it's that. It's okay to hit him from the back, just don't hit him from the front. Unless, you know, you like pain and stuff. You get rescued by our... He's not a priest, he's like a wandering... I don't know, like a traveler or something. I don't think it's ever elaborated on what actually his profession is. Maybe just a merchant. It just happened to be here as well. But yeah, apparently, you know, he's helping us. So we got at least, you know, one more alley to find out what the heck is going on here. So this is like the big reveal, what happened in this temple. Like these soldiers that you see here, they basically abandoned the war effort. And they're just aimlessly roaming the countryside, you know, to try and get away from the war. And from the army who's trying to, you know, get them back to fight in the war because they don't want to die. And on their way, they, you know, because they're deserters now, they're not exactly welcomed anywhere. So they luckily, quote unquote, found this temple. And they found like a golden idol. And because they didn't have any money and nothing else, they decided, you know, we just can go ahead and grab that one and live our best life as far as we are aware. And they killed the monks for it. And that is why this is now a haunted place. So very cheery once again. Oh. Okay, see, where do we go next? Teleport. Union Temple. And then we use Shrinking Talisman because fight is not so great. Enemies and stuff. So you can see that in the lower right, there is like this icon with a circle around that depletes. And that is basically how much time you have left on the Earth Shrinking Talisman. Now the interesting thing is, if that buff runs out while you are in a place where a fight should take place, you will still get into that fight. So you have to be aware of that, and you actually have to be quick. The negative thing, though, is that if you auto-trigger a cutscene or any story event, that buff will automatically run out. So that is why we're getting into that right now. Where's the enemy? Oh, yeah. Over there. So this is absolutely a fight that I would like to be able to skip. However, it's apparently like a story fight or something. Like you can't go ahead and use another Earth Shrinking Talisman here, much to my dismay. Because as you can see, you know, there are all these archers, there are these ghosts that just like to float around all over the place, making your life miserable. So it's really one of those fights that, so great if you skip it, but you can't. Reason I unequip the skill breaker again. Now here we're making our way to the bottom of this chasm to not only find another boss, but also get that statue skull that you're seeing in the back on the ground there. Not the big one, the one in front. Like carrying that big one would be quite the feat. So you kind of want to end this fight like in the middle of the arena, because, you know, Zhu Haju will just go ahead and automatically pick up that skull at the end of the fight. But if you are in the middle of the arena, like obviously you will immediately pick it up and you don't have to watch the animation of her walking into the middle of the screen and picking it up. So it's just a bit of a nice time save. I kind of finished middle-ish, I'm saying. Now we have to make our way all the way up top. Like we just went all the way down or anything. Now the really thing that kind of irks me a little bit is that all of these platforms are like basically spread apart like 1.5 jumps. What that means is like if you just do one jump, it's too short, but if you do a double jump, it's too much, and it's just it's so bad. Why would you space out your platforms like that? It's so irritating. Okay, here we have another couple fights to do. You actually cannot skip these as well. Oh, nothing that can be done here. Or, nope. Wanna grab that stuff. Also, if you're wondering, does this game take any inspiration from Dark Souls, then yes it does. Because if you die, obviously you will get set back to the last shrine you rested at. But you will also lose some of your spirit essence, the counter in the lower right corner of the screen here. However, you don't lose all of it, but you will lose some of it that you cannot retrieve whatsoever. So, might be better, might be even worse, because it's a definite loss if you die. But hey, that's the way it is. Also, we are fighting a Ghost Buddha. Now, this fight is unique in that our Buddha friend here doesn't have a guard meter. So you see that the blue bar is missing. This is for better or worse. The good thing is, obviously we are always doing health damage to him. But on the minus side is that we cannot stun him. Oh god. God, my dude, what are you doing? Ah. It's just not letting me do the thing here. Okay, there we go. This fight can be a little bit iffy sometimes, like if you have like poor timing on your attacks that they always like coincide with his. Obviously, his take precedence over yours and he will just constantly knock you out of your slash attacks. So, it can be a little bit iffy. He's not too hard, everything considered. But, if you're just off cycle, so to speak, can go a bit. Oh, wait. Oh, strength up here. Alright. Good enough. And that was also the end of chapter 2. So we are now in the third and final chapter of Zhou Haizhu's story. And we're actually starting to fight some new enemies here. We are now fighting these wolves instead of the rats. They're probably some of the worst normal enemies in the game. Like, they are so quick with their lances, and they also have quite a bit of reach to back it up, so you have to be really careful with them. And also they don't get staggered as easily as all the other enemies so far. So it really is a bit of a departure from the enemies that you have fought so far. So, it's quite fitting that you actually fight them in the last chapter of the game, not earlier. We're also fighting some more of the lizard, and of course they brought their puny little shields that will just lose me time. That was decent. Quick. And we got another boss fight. As you can see, this game is like really just kind of like a boss rush simulator, which also makes it fun, You always have like a fight that you can look forward to, and even though you kind of see me use and abuse the same kind of moves, there is just a lot of subtlety that goes into all of these boss fights, just based on their behaviors. So you can't just, bum rush the whole thing, like I am doing today, apparently. But you can also just go ahead and parry their moves. This gives you like an instant parry and also breaks their guard a little bit better. But I am not feeling up to that today, so I just kind of do the old and faithful strategy, just absolutely murderizing them without any finesse whatsoever. Because it also works. Also, if you're wondering why that guy, you know, has a bit of his hair missing, well, you would have to play Yudron Trun's story to find that out, because, you know, that is actually a thing that is intertwined between these two storylines. Like, they are mostly separate, but you get certain hints in all of the chapters, you know, that they are kinda interconnected a little bit. That's just neat to see. Also, I think I can go ahead and grab that other, yes, ability that I was missing earlier to have. And since this is the final chapter of the game, we will just go ahead and use our stash of earth shrinking talismans now to get, you know, away from most of the fights, or at least the most time-consuming fights here. The interesting thing about Earth-Shrinking Talisman as well is you only get them after a boss fight, so you always know, quote-unquote, how many Earth-Shrinking Talismans you have, because it, you know, corresponds to the amounts of bosses you fought. So you will always have the required amount in order to, you know, make the most of it during the speedrun. So there's absolutely no RNG when it comes to that during the course of the run, which is nice. Because again, if you compare this to Muramasa, it's like, ooh. Do you have enough smoke bombs? Or do you not? Most of the times you did not have them, and then you were sad. Damn it. Oh well, it is what it is. What did I miss? I think it was just in the screen that I passed, wasn't it? Anyway, boss fight. Missed a couple slashes there, which is sad, but... And yeah, we rescued another girl that was like taken away from this village. That is why we came to this forest. But we also meet our traveling merchant friend again, who is the villagers think he's basically a demon, or, you know, an outsider, and they don't like outsiders, and they're about to sacrifice them or something. But luckily we just came in the nick of time to intervene there. Also brought back the girl, so, you know. And then in the favor of the villagers, just teleporting back to where we came from. And continue on, because we're done here. Oh, right. Oh, you have to jump here. Crystal, but it's not an S. Yeah, it'll be fine. I have. Ta-da. These spiders can be a little of a problem because they have a dodge roll like that. Makes them invulnerable during its runtime. Or roll time. But you want to look at it. Which basically means that they can lose a bunch of time. Then we have Blood Wizard, another boss fight. There's Trusty Fish. I don't know, that fish always reminds me of something, but I don't remember what specific. But I think there's like a boss in another game that kind of looks similar. Oh my god, dude. Chill. But yeah, we have another big flying enemy, so guess you all know at this point what that means. Upspin slash, downward strike and slash. I always find it interesting, you know, that the main game mechanic, the slash, is just called the slash. Makes talking about this game feel weird somehow, you know, because if you say slash, okay, what do you mean? Do you like the game mechanic? Do you just mean an attack? What is it? I mean, I guess it makes sense that it's called that way because it is a slash, but it's just... Anyway, we're making our way to the Blood Drop Cave, which is basically we're getting close to the end of the run. Actually, there are like 3 more bosses to go through, I think, and as you can see, those go by pretty quickly. Another thing is with the Earthshrinking Talisman, and why I'm not going to use one here, is if you use an Earthshrinking Talisman, it puts you back at the beginning of the screen. And as you can see, I travel quite a distance into this cave here before this fight triggers, and I would have to go all that way back if I were to use the Earthshrinking Talisman. So it's just way faster to just go ahead and kill those 2 enemies, because, you know, they're not that big of a threat. Quickly through the cave here. When we 8, that's all that I can do. Now we're fighting the Blood Demon. So we had the Blood Wing, the Blood Wizard. Now we have the Blood Demon. It's all very bloody around here. And you can see the guy in the background there, that is Elder Wu, I think it's called. And he's basically the guy that we need to heal our brother. So we first have to go through this demon. However, he can be a bit of a tricky one. Because of these lightning attacks. So I was dumb enough to hit his parry stance. I did it again. Just keep missing my slashes. What's that, man? I'm always a little bit too early today. So we'll learn to be a little bit more patient. Anyway, that was a Blood Demon. That was not the final boss just yet. But we are very close to it. So yeah, we got saved again by our traveling merchant friend, and he's basically been banished to the spirit realm. And that is where we have to go to rescue him. The Killerchair, if you have anything else to say, now would be good for it, because we are very fast approaching the end of the game here.
Alright. Well, of course I can tell people very quickly that do keep your donations coming, because we're going to be raising money for Mind this entire weekend. We got Mind is a wonderful organization committed to prevent mental health issues and support everyone who's dealing with mental health issues themselves or within their family. And I am very happy to be supporting such a lovely event, and maybe you too wish to support the event with a little donation. Any amount helps.
Yes, go ahead and donate to charity. Like, the marathon just started. This is only the second one, so we have a whole weekend ahead of us. And perfect timing too, because this is the first part of the final boss. This is Chaos. Because of course, you know, it's a action RPG kind of thing, so we have to kill God at the end, or, you know, Chaos God, whatever. And it is this slimy ball, and probably one of the hardest fights in the whole game, I want to say. Like, this guy can just do whatever the hell he wants, and there's nothing you can do about it. Especially if he just likes to go ahead a little bit more into the air. Ah, okay, I kind of interrupted him before I was able to. Because you can just float in the air, and then you're having a bad time because most of your attacks will miss. Yeah, see, there we go. Oh no, he actually came down again immediately, wow. But yeah, you can't just lose health so easily in this fight until it's basically too late that you notice it and then you die. So you really have to take a look at your health there. Okay, that was the first fight. Time is coming up after the next boss fight. So as soon as I deal the final hit and the boss UI in the top middle disappears, that will be time. So I will try to call it out, but I will probably fail at it. But basically, as soon as you see the health bars disappear, that is when time will be called. So get ready on that. So yeah, this is phase 2 of Chaos. He is now the 9-tailed fox, but I don't think it actually has 9 tails. I think it's like 4 or 5. But I guess you probably have seen this monster before in various other media, so you're probably kind of aware what this is. Hate that black hole attack. Deals so much damage. Yeah, what wouldn't it be without a little bit of girl-on-girl action here? Okay, knocked him out of that phase. Time is coming up. And time. And yeah, that was the run. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? You saw the game. It's a neat little game. I really do like it. I think the run is quite beginners friendly. As I said before, whenever you are in a menu, the IGT timer stops, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Obviously, you know, in something like a marathon setting like now, the RTA is still important like that. But I think it's definitely a game that you can pick up and become proficient at pretty quickly. Like, I don't even think I have done that many runs of it myself, and I think I've got a pretty respectable time of it so far. Went a little bit longer today than I wanted to, but I guess it's just marathon nerves for you, and some of the enemies just did not play ball today. God damn it. It definitely kept me on my toes here. So yeah, thanks to BSG for having me. Please keep donating to charity. It is a wonderful cause, as always. Good luck to all of the rest of the runners. And I'm just quickly gonna skip through all of the credits here, so you're not gonna hear the awesome credit song because I want to check my IGT. My IGT is actually a 58:10, so you can see, you know, I was about 7 minutes in the menu or so, but also it's only like 4 minutes slower than my world record time IGT, so, you know, I'm still pretty happy with this one. And especially since this was only the second time this game has been shown off at a marathon, like, at all. The only other person that I know of that has shown this at a marathon was GL Phoenix, a fellow speedrunner from Australia, who did the other character in Australian Speedrunner went a little bit earlier in the... I forget which event it was specifically, but you know, if you check out the Australian Speedrunners, you'll probably find it pretty quickly. Anyway, that's it for me. Good luck to the rest of the runners. Have a wonderful weekend. Donate to charity, and I hope to see you soon. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for that run. Lovely, delightful run to see. Good times all around. Next up, we will have Ukyu with Borderlands, and that's going to be a great time. For me, though, that is it for me on the hosting desk. I'm going to be handing it over to the lovely hands and voice of Nordic. So have a good rest of the marathon, everyone. Bye-bye.